If you've been scrolling through endless listings, watching video after video, and still can't decide which electric motorcycle actually makes sense for your day-to-day, this review is here to cut through the noise. I've spent the last few weeks riding the eAhora 4000W M8S around town, reading forums, and comparing the numbers to what real riders actually need. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The first thing that trips most people up when they look at a high-power bike or scooter is the gap between headline specs and everyday reality. A 4000-watt motor sounds like a race bike, but the real question is whether it can deliver that power smoothly on city streets, during stop-and-go traffic, and on the occasional hill. At the same time, the promise of a 70-mile range can feel like a marketing hook until you factor in wind, payload, and the kind of riding style you actually use. Buying the wrong model means you either end up with a sluggish commuter that can't keep up, or you overpay for a machine that's more thrill than practicality. Let's start with who this bike actually serves. If you're a commuter who lives 10 to 15 miles from work, wants to shave off a few dollars on gas, and likes the idea of arriving without a cloud of exhaust, the eAhora M8S checks a lot of boxes. Its 50 miles per hour top speed is more than enough to keep pace with city traffic, and the dual hydraulic disc brakes give you confidence when you need to stop quickly at a red light or in a crowded bike lane. The full suspension and aluminum fork-up front and rear shock means the ride stays composed over potholes, speed bumps, and the occasional curb hop you'll encounter on a downtown route. If you're the type who likes to take a weekend spin on a backroad or a scenic bike trail, the 4000W motor gives you the kind of acceleration that feels more like a motorcycle than a scooter. You can blast past a slow car on a two-lane road and still have plenty of battery left for a leisurely 30-minute ride after work. The 72V35Ah lithium pack, when used under moderate conditions, does hover around the 70-mile claim, which translates to roughly 3,035 miles of real-world range per charge after accounting for wind resistance, stop-and-go traffic, and the weight of a helmet and a small backpack. Now, who should walk away from this one? If you're a brand new rider who's still getting comfortable with throttle control, the power delivery can feel a bit abrupt. The motor's torque is instant, which is great for overtaking, but it also means you need to be mindful of wheel spin on wet pavement. Also, if you live in a region where electric motorcycles must be licensed, registered, and insured like a gas-powered bike, make sure you're ready for that paperwork. Some cities treat anything over 30 miles per hour as a motor vehicle. Lastly, if you're looking for a low-cost, short-range commuter for under a mile of daily travel, you'll probably be better off with an electric scooter that costs a fraction of the price. Practical strengths start to surface once you put the M8S through a typical workday. The LCD display, with its IP66 rating, stays bright even on a sunny morning and survives a sudden downpour without any flicker. The integrated speedometer and odometer are straightforward, no menu hopping required, and the built-in lighting system 360-degree LEDs makes night riding feel safe without needing aftermarket add-ons. The tires are a wider, grippier compound than you'd find on a standard commuter scooter, so cornering through a city plaza feels stable, and the hydraulic brakes respond immediately, which is a noticeable upgrade over cable-actuated systems. On the downside, the bike's weight is something you'll notice when you try to lift it onto a bike rack or onto a loading dock. It's solid enough to feel planted when you're riding, but that mass translates to a longer charging time. A full charge takes roughly 8 to 9 hours on a standard home outlet, meaning you'll need to plan ahead if you want to ride both morning and evening on the same day. The range also shrinks noticeably if you add a heavy load, say, a grocery bag or a small parcel, so for delivery-type work, you might need to carry a spare battery or accept shorter trips. Finally, because the bike pushes the upper limit of street legal speed, some municipalities require you to wear a helmet and possibly a reflective vest even during daylight, which adds to the gear you need to keep handy. One practical scenario that illustrates the balance of strengths and weaknesses is a commuter who lives in a hilly suburb. In the morning, the rider can hit 50 miles per hour on the flat stretch to the highway entrance, use the strong torque to climb the hill without stalling, and still have enough juice left for the downhill coast back home. The suspension smooths out the rough city streets, and the hydraulic brakes give confidence when descending the hill at speed.